There are reports coming out that Jim Harbaugh and the LA Chargers are within striking distance, that was the verbiage that was used, of nearing a deal to make him the next head coach in LA. Now, this is not surprising to anybody. If you're a Michigan fan, it's kind of like the other guys. Like Mark Wahlberg saying, I'm a peacock, you got to let me fly. That's what Jim Harbaugh is saying. I'm a peacock, you got to let me go fly to the NFL. More power to him. You appreciate that. You love that. You say thank you for the memories and thank you for the national championship trophy. Thank you for that banner. Let's keep a good thing going. But how do you keep a good thing going? That's the thing I want to talk about. Yesterday, we mentioned the smoke and the buzz around Brian Kelly's name seemingly being thrown around. Again, talked to people close to Michigan, and they say there's no truth to that. Brian Kelly also said himself, this is my last stop here at LSU. So I want us to just stand on the table one more time, if we can, and tell you Sherrone Moore should be the next head coach at Michigan. Should be the next head coach. And we're beating this drum now for probably the third or fourth time, but I think it's important because if you look outside of those four walls at Michigan, you are making a devastating mistake. Because what will happen is you will lose players to the portal and you will not have the opportunity to go to the portal and bring in a similar level of quality of player to your roster. So you'll decimate your roster at the cost of hiring some big name head coach. Because for Michigan, that's the temptation, right? You would imagine with that brand and with what they're doing right now in the college football landscape, the momentum they have, they could swing big. They could. I'm just telling you right now, they could swing big and bring in some big name. But what's the point of that if you decimate your roster and hit the reset on what your college football prowess is right now or where you are in the college football landscape? It's a fool's errand. What's made Michigan Michigan is their way of doing things. We say it a lot on here. It's almost cliche. Process, culture, the day-to-day, the standard, all those things. They're cliche because they're true. And Jim Harbaugh has put those in place. You know who's helped put those in place? Sherrone Moore. Sherrone Moore has helped uphold that and keep that. And also, he's got head coaching experience. He's beaten Ohio State. He's beat Penn State already. With the weight of the world on their shoulders, he was the head coach to lead them through that 3-game stretch. And so what I'm trying to tell you here is, yes, it'll be a calibration period for Sherrone Moore going from the OC to being the head coach, but I'm telling you, that is well worth the price of the calibration to keep that process and keep that culture intact. Because you can go out and sign great players, you can go and recruit well, you can go to the portal eventually and land the top guys, but that's the easy part, right? Like getting someone to sign their name on the dotted line overall, like that happens in a matter of minutes. But to have a championship culture and to have buy-in, that takes time. That takes an offseason. That takes several off seasons. And so the credibility that Sherrone Moore has with this team creates buy-in. I believe there would be a very big objection if he weren't made the head coach. But I don't want to dismiss the fact that it would be a change in terms of style. I think it has to be a change of style. And what I mean by that is leadership to me, and I think just in general, is most effective when it's authentic. And so Sherrone Moore won't walk in there and try and be Jim Harbaugh. He just won't. And he shouldn't. He's not Jim Harbaugh. He's Sherrone Moore. He's his own coach. And I think leaning into that and developing that as a head coach is going to be the key thing for him, and being able to, have his own style when it comes to addressing the team and having his own style when it comes to their calendar. So having the same fundamentals and putting pedal to the metal on what Jim Harbaugh did well and keeping those intact, but also having it be Sherrone Moore's Michigan and that transition, that could take some time. I'm not saying that's not going to be a reality, but the fact that he has a good understanding of what Michigan is right now and what makes Michigan, quite honestly, in the context of this 2024 college football season, that has to be noted. That has to be a reality for him. So what to expect from him if he does become the next head coach? I think you can expect from him the same thing that Michigan's been in the past couple of seasons. Line of scrimmage football team. Going to play tough in the trenches. Probably run a pretty similar style of offense with him being the OC from last year. Probably the same kind of operation this upcoming season. What does the staff look like? No idea. But I can tell you, I think the roster, the portal exodus you would see, pretty minimal. I think it'd be pretty minimal. So overall, last thing we say here, I have no idea when this Jim Harbaugh news will or won't break. If he does take an NFL job, it sounds imminent. So I wanted to make sure we said it one more time on this show. Sherrone Moore should be your next head coach, and it should happen within a span of 24 hours from Jim Harbaugh if he takes an NFL job. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.